Yeah, recapping after watching the tape, I think defensively it really kept us in the game. I thought they had a critical hold for a field goal, 10 points at half. The third quarter, a couple long drives there that we couldn't get off the field a couple of times. Tough call, extended the drive, that kind of thing. But I did think the effort was there. Not a lot of missed assignments type thing. I do think as the game got into the second half, they leaned on us a little bit because they'd been out there quite a bit. Offensively, slow start. Call it lack of execution, timing, some things that we got to do better. Didn't help ourselves penalty-wise. Drop, inaccurate throw. Just wanted to be able to regroup, and then you look at opportunities in the fourth quarter, didn't finish. Again, go back to a couple of fourth downs, got us a chance to make it a much more back in the game didn't happen. Special teams wise, was pleased with Eckley's hang time in regards to the punt game coverage unit. That part was good to see because that had been missing for a couple of weeks, but ultimately still came down to just not good enough and got beat. And so how you move forward, regrouping, guys. Told the truth quite a bit yesterday, looking at things. Still a lot out in front of us, and we spoke to that because, again, I think the preparation, we weren't second-guessing the week of work that went into leading into that, and really the energy, passion played with. Can we recreate that on a Saturday and then execute a little bit better? So that's where our mindset is moving forward, looking toward the opportunity that's coming on the road in Minnesota. Got a bunch of respect for the program, PJ Fleck, well established over there in the brand of football they play, physical, play good defense, and they're doing it again this year. They are coming off a tough loss just like us, but they play really well at home. You look at the tape, they got some balance on offense, and so it'll be a great challenge for us. Questions?
Jonathan, you mentioned the emotion that you guys want to recreate. When you spend so much time getting up for that one game, you say is bigger than anything else on the schedule. Is it difficult to get the guys back up? And they're and Minnesota's facing obviously a similar thing in their rivalry loss.
Talked about it yesterday, and again, that's back to a consistent in our approach. We've seen kind of what it can look like on the field in regards to that energy, passion, and we've got the opportunity to do it again this week. Our approach will be go back to work tomorrow, starting in practice, and I'm confident these groups of mature, football means a ton to them, that we'll be ready and excited to play on Saturday.
The offsides non-call was a little bit more than a tough call. It may not have changed the result of the game, but it certainly would have changed the tenor of that game. I've looked at it 5 times. I'm sure at least twice as many for you. Do you have any, I don't want to say recourse with the Big Ten? I mean, how do you accept that kind of call that was clearly wrong?
Yeah, we and this is every week, call we got a question on, or we thought maybe should have called it differently. We submit those. We did that, and we have yet to hear back, but there's an explanation. And credit to this conference, Bill, head of officials. They'll own calls that they maybe miss or whatnot. I haven't yet to hear back on that particular one. And so those are bang plays. I've seen that call not made plenty of time. It did get made in this one.
They tell you I'm sorry, that's very little solace, isn't it?
Well, and that's how it works. I mean, that's how we play the games, and some calls are going to go your way, some don't.
Yeah, there was one in the Steelers game last night. There was I don't think they called it. It would look like it was a potential neutral zone, but anyways, I'm wondering from the offensive standpoint, how do you get things fixed? Is it more as you look back the blocking? Is it Aiden's play? Where is the biggest issues? And continuing to look at Alessio and his late game performance, how do you progress with that?
Yeah. We're definitely looking at it and searching as coaches. So you think about the offensive, because we've shown some flashes. It's kind of week to week. Some things are really good. Some need to get better. I go back and 2 weeks ago we complete 20 straight passes against a really good defense, and then you fast forward. I think a recurring theme is we're playing some good defenses the last couple of weeks. So you're looking for perspective. On Alessio's play, he has come in and, had a nice drive again. Did get helped with a couple of calls, but he's been working, progressing. We've got confidence in him, and just like every position, we're evaluating and as guys are growing and what gives us the best chance. So all those conversations are on a weekly basis, but we need to find some more consistency and really just points from the offensive side, another touchdown or two a game.
Jonathan, in your opening statement, you mentioned you told the truth in the meeting to guys. What was that truth?
Well, the truth a little bit is, that game means a lot. We came up short. Talk about, the effort was there. We fell short in this area, defensively getting a stop here too, didn't convert on fourth down. Those are all truthful, and so we own it that way.
And then I'm curious, when you interviewed for the job in November 2023 and took the job, did you expect the clock to be this fast in today's college football landscape, just the pressure that's felt by coaches?
I think it continues to change, call it, over the last even year or two in this NIL era, things like that. I was, and continue to be, excited about playing in what I think is the best conference in college football. Well, what comes with that? It's competitive, it is hard, nothing's given or it's easy, and so we're in the mix of doing that right now.
Jonathan, it's a little bit like whack-a-mole. I mean, one week it's the special teams at Nebraska, and then the next week against UCLA, it's the defense, and then it's always one area. What do you do about that?
Yeah, you keep working, you keep searching, right? Because it is the ultimate team game. And maybe it's oversimplifying things of 1 week. Well, if we'd have played better on this side, we'd have won. Maybe that's oversimplifying, but we definitely have not found consistent stretch of football where all three phases are playing at a high tilt.
One more thing. As far as having Joe on the staff this week, is that a big advantage for you? Is it an advantage for them because they know what he likes to do?
Right. I think it probably goes both ways, right? Familiar with, call it both universities. I do think there's mutual respect between the two of them. I think, Joe did a lot of good things there at Minnesota. We're excited about Joe being here. I know Joe deeply respects the place, Coach Fleck, and how they go about it. So I think it's probably a two-way street in, the background of knowing each side.
Sometimes during your open statement, you talk about bumps and bruises you get from the previous game. Seemed you mostly unscathed, but I guess, are there any bumps and bruises from the game? And I guess specifically Stanton, because he left the game.
Stanton, credit to him, made a go of it. He just was not couldn't go as full speed as he wanted to earlier in that game. We'll kind of see what this thing looks like by the end of the week. Think about Jordan Hall, similar bumps and bruises going. We'll kind of see what he looks like at the end of the week. We did not take maybe an injury that's going to keep the guy out for the rest of the season. Ben Roberts, I would call him doubtful this weekend.
Jonathan, what did you see from Aiden from Indiana to Michigan that was just different from his performance, or was it just the different, what he was facing was different, the schemes were different, he didn't react to it as well?
Yeah, the schemes are a little bit different. Indiana, obviously, the accuracy was at a high level. In the Indiana game, there's a couple throws that are inaccurate. The lack of rhythm early on, think about looking at the first couple of drives in Indiana, we had some success moving the ball. There was a rhythm that was created early in that game. We did not have that in this one. Those couple things stand out.
And if you had conversations with Jay Batt about everything, and then also, do you feel like you have people in your corner here at the university?
Me and Jay, weekly meeting, and that's been consistent throughout. We've had conversations on areas where we got to continue to find improvement. So those conversations are pretty consistent.
Do you feel like you have people in your corner throughout the university?
I do in regards to just the support of day-to-day text messages, those kind of things. Having said, I love being at a place that is competitive, want to get things right, want to come out on the right side of the scoreboard, and that's where we're at right now.
When you look back to week one and compare it to this team now, where have you seen progress in specific
Week one
areas? Yeah, just over the course of this season, where have you seen progress from this group?
Right. I think specifically starting like defensively, I think we've progressed in challenging more in our pass defense, and not contesting balls, playing with aggression. I think that's some growth that we've seen. I think about our run fits have gotten better. At least last week they were better than previous weeks. So you see in these small pockets of growth there. Mentioned Eckley already. Hot start, worked through some things, and then had better hang time. Our punt unit was better this last week. Look at that offensively, have shown potential, but also the fight throughout 4 quarters for a couple weeks now. So I think that's growth.
And then Justin Denson, I don't think we saw on the sideline the last game. What's his status going into Minnesota?
He's working with some things outside of football right now.
Jonathan, you talking about something to build on. You got run game actually, over 100 yards for the first time after 3 games without it. What'd you see from Mackay that helped spark that? And he seemed to show some vision and kind of wiggle.
Yeah, he did. He had a couple good longer runs. Still tries to make it physical. Again, that run game approach, it's not always going to be clean, perfect. It's going to be kind of muddy sometimes, and working through some of the best runs, in my opinion, maybe it's blocked for 2 yards, he finds 4. So I think there's some confidence that Mackay / that group, when we trust the scheme, make it physical, we can pop on a few, and he did in that game.
I know you addressed after the game Joe Rossi's sideline presence. Did you feel the energy, and is that something you'll do going forward?
I think we stick with that. That was kind of the hope of him coming down to the sideline. Joe does a great job with I'll call it the whole unit in regards to communication, direction. He meets with those guys almost daily, and so that was some of the logic with coming him downstairs. And I did think it was more about not just the play when the defense is on the field, but the adjustments, the communication there in between series. And we liked how that went.
Jonathan, how do you ignore the outside noise, and how tough is it on you and your family with what you're going through now and all that's going on out there?
Yeah, I think for me, you continue to keep the main thing, and that's really our players, our staff, the focus being on that, the work that's being done. My name's at the top of this thing, but there's a lot that are affected, that are going through the disappointment of losing a few games in a row here, and so I just think about the others and appreciate the work that continues to go, especially when it's hard. It's easier to stay motivated when success are a little bit easier. Things are hard, but I appreciate the group that we've got that continue to work on the day-to-day.
Do you feel an urgency to fix it, like right now?
Oh, yeah, I think there's always urgency to get it better, and that's what the role is of coaching and playing this game. You're always wanting to figure out a better way to do it and find results success.
Jonathan, for a couple weeks there when Nakai was out, it seemed like there was a higher volume of sort of some big plays given up, some busts and whatnot at the back end. Does his return and the way the defense played, is there any correlation there, and just what you thought he brought when he came back last week?
Right. Maybe to an extent. Obviously, he's a veteran player, has played a lot of football, is good in the communication side, but I felt as a unit, I started with this, less of just, a bust. We were pretty sound across the board, 11 guys. Last Saturday.
We asked Tom Izzo a lot about kind of the state of his profession, and he talks a lot about that. I'm wondering for you, as you look around the country, and not just specifically your situation, but seeing some of the coaches that have been let go over the course of the last few months, how do you assess where the profession of being a college football coach is right now?
Yeah. It's, continued to change. I still think there's some beauty in coaching that doesn't change in regards to growth, the competition, repurposing this game of football to add value to these guys' life of going through hard times, finding success. I still think there's beauty in such a large, especially football, such a large, diverse group coming together for a common goal and then going through good ups and downs and, that life experience adding benefit to their long-term life and what they're challenged. So there's still a lot of beauty there in coaching this game.
Do you feel like any of that is being abandoned in this era of either players getting paid or the constant decision-making and the portal and everything else?
Yeah, I think abandoned is a strong word. I do think that, less time, more, call it good distraction, because there's compensation. There's a lot more distraction when you throw in some immediate results needed, other parties involved outside of just mom, dad, player, and coach. All of that is is different.
Jonathan, following up on that, do you see parallels to where your program was at Oregon State early on? And is it possible to have a 4, 5, 6-year plan now?
Yeah, there was probably some parallels from year ones to years two. Again, it's just not strictly the way I see things. Yeah, the results are the number one priority, but you still find pockets of growth, establishment in the relationship, development of players. We're still taking that approach here in year two, just like we did in year two at Oregon State. And so, again, controlling what you can control, keeping the main thing, and that is, again, about this team, the players, the individuals buying in, continue to work and grow, and counting on things flipping when you take that approach.
Jonathan, I know there's not much transparency at all in sort of the NIL and financial realm of this sport, but I'm just wondering, when you go back to looking at this team in the offseason, building it and whatnot, do you feel satisfied? Like, was there adequate money, resources to put this together to be as competitive as you guys wanted to be different than 3 and 5, you think, when you
Right.
evaluate that?
We do evaluate, not probably on the weekly, but like, another bye week coming up, you take a look at, anytime you're looking at your roster, the potentials of next year, additions, who's departing senior-wise, that's still taking place. I think I probably speak for every coach in America, right? Yeah, that was a good investment now, right, that term. Yeah, we maybe overspent or underspent over there. Injuries always, you can't forecast, right? And so do we have depth in a couple of spots? Well, where our injuries have placed, yeah, we're a little lighter at a spot or two that we couldn't totally forecast. So we have those conversations, but not totally weekly, be more on those bye weeks.
In terms of, I guess, the pot of money, though, do you feel like that was big enough?
Well, you kind of started with your question, and it's lack of transparency. You don't totally know what's big enough, what's not. You hear things, this and that. I do feel like I like this group that we've got together, the way they work and are going. And the more transparency, I do think, is better for college football. Okay, guys, thanks.